Okay, here's a quick rundown of the IFO FPV system. We're going to go over the individual components. First of all, the radio is a classic Turnigy 9X running the OEM Turnigy version 2 firmware, which has done a great job. I need to change over to ER9X, and that's just a future project down the road. So this is the actual plane right here. Yeah, that's what an IFO looks like. It's nothing but a carbon fiber frame that's wrapped with Kevlar thread at the joints and a red cellophane covering that acts as an airfoil as it flexes in flight. The motor is a older Tower Pro 2410-08 890 kV. They don't make these motors anymore. Very simple, cheap motor. I think it was like a $10 motor. The propeller is an APC 10 by 4.7 pitch, so 10-inch diameter prop. Pretty big prop. It's got a lot of bite to it, a lot of torque, and that works great with the 890 kV motor. Then we have a El Cheapo Datrum electronic speed control, 18 amp, and then we have our battery. And actually, I wrapped the part of the battery in mouse pad foam from the thrift store, and that kind of protects it from hitting the landing gear strut should it come in kind of hot and hard. So that's a 1000 milliamp Turnigy Zippy 3S. It's only a 15C battery, but plenty of output for this setup. And then here's the new pride and joy, the most recent addition to the FPV gear. I originally started off with 1.2 gigahertz and realized it doesn't play nicely with 2.4 radio link, and I can't get into long-range UHF systems yet. So I decided if I'm gonna get something in the air this season, I've got to do it with a 5.8. So 5.8 gigahertz, 200 milliwatts. It came. I bought this from the guy who owns basexrc.com. He sells a lot of quadcopter parts, but I bought this off of RC Groups. Paid like $65 for it and got free shipping from him, and he sells them for a little more on his website, so I think he was just giving the price break for his friends that are on the RC Groups, and so got a good deal on that. The radio receiver for the controls of the plane is the FlySky receiver, which is the stock system that comes in the Turnigy 9X radio, and it's been ground tested out to 0.9 miles on the ground. So in the air, I figure that's probably about 1.2 to 1.5 miles in the air. Got the aerial, the antenna sticking straight out. Now if you notice, I do run the 2.4 aerial right here. I run it perpendicular to the antenna for the FPV transmitter right here. I run them 90 degrees to each other, and I also run the stubby on the transmitter also like that to match the 2.4 on the plane. That way video and RC link are working in 90 degree opposition to each other for maximum cancellation between any harmonics. Now the camera is a Sony 600 TV vertical line Super HAD CCD. Supposedly it's about the well, as a matter of fact, based on specs, and the quality is good, but based on specs, it does max out the NTSC composite transmission that the transmitter provides back to the ground. So even a better camera will not give you any better quality. That camera is already maxing out what a normal NTSC composite signal can handle for transmission wirelessly. So can't beat that. Got a couple of high-tech HS55s. These things are like, geez, like 10 years old or so. These are the old high-tech HS55s. They've been on this plane since it was built about 13 years ago, and they're still going strong. The control linkages are heavily modified from the original IFO design. I ended up using carbon fiber push rods and some brass inserts and ball joints, and it makes for a lot more robust system. Now, this plane is equipped with 180 LEDs, which I did a video last night with the FPV system turned on, recording a night flight with the LEDs on, and that's what all the bright blue lights are. basically this white ring that goes around the entire perimeter of this plane. Those are all LEDs, and there's a total of 180. And so yes, I do use a single battery, the Zippy 1000 milliamp 3S battery. It runs the entire system, everything, all at the same time. And even with everything on, I still get about 12 to 14 minutes of flight time. Without the FPV system on and without the lights on, I can fly for about 20 minutes if I'm kind of careful on the throttle and don't hot dog it too much. So that's the whole system layout right there. And this particular system has worked great. This is the second test with it, and the balance is right, the aerodynamics are right, everything's right. The very first test I tried with the 200 milliwatt 5.8 system, what I did is I had the camera mounted out here, pointed forwards right at the edge of the prop, and it gave, basically a Superman view, which means nothing in the frame at all except just open sky. And that's the kind of view I like, but it caused serious problems with the handling of the plane. The plane was just unflyable, and that just didn't work out. So this is going to be the final setup right here. We have no choice but to have the camera back here and have the prop in view during flying. That's just the way it's going to have to be. But anyway, it's flying great. This is definitely a solid setup, and this is the way I'm going to keep it from here on. And soon we will actually be doing a flyby screen, and that'll be our first time. At this point, all we've done is just ground recordings of the downfeed, the downlink from the plane onto a camcorder on the ground, and just about getting to that point where we're going to be doing a full-blown flyby screen episode. So stay tuned.
You bend over.